Hey there, welcome to Example of Play. My name's Joe, and this is going to be a beginner's guide for Titan Quest 2. This video is for people who are brand new to action RPGs or relatively inexperienced, and you came across Titan Quest 2 and you thought, that's the one I want to play, and you came here to learn the basics, trying to get a handle on the mechanics of the game, and get going. So we're going to hit play, we're going to create a character, and then run through the early part of the game, just kind of taking what the game tells you about the mechanics and fleshing it out, and helping you to come to grips with this kind of game if you haven't played one very much before. So let's get to it. Alright, so let's hit play. We'll hit create new character. Now this is the early access version of the game. It's only been out for a few days, so the character creator is basically just selecting from a bunch of presets. Eventually you'll be able to customize what your character looks like here from a bunch of options, but we'll just go with, I like this guy. He looks kind of like a Greek hero. Hit finalize. Now, I already had my name typed in here from before when I was messing with it, so put your name in there. And then difficulty. This is our first real choice. Normal is kind of the default difficulty. There's not a whole bunch of different options right now. So if you put it on normal, you can die from enemies fairly early on. If you're not paying attention, you know, they can get you. So if you are really brand new to these games, if you've tried it and you're struggling, or you just want it to be easy while you learn, don't be afraid to put it on neophyte, because you can switch it to normal during the game if you want to, so you're not stuck on easy mode forever. So normal, probably be, for most people, you'll be okay on normal. And then hardcore, the difference here is that your character, if they die, they're gone. Like, they're just deleted, over, done, and all the stuff that they're carrying is gone too. So that can be a fun thrill if you're already good at the game and you want to kind of up the challenge, up the stakes of every encounter, but we're just going to leave it on normal. The other option here is this solo self-found. I've never heard this phrase before in all of gaming, but basically this makes your character be prohibited from trading items with other characters and joining multiplayer games, so they're like locked offline. I don't know if there's like a advantage to doing that, but I don't know. Eventually the game will have multiplayer. This current build, it's not, there's like an experimental build you can play multiplayer on, but right now it's single player on the stable branch of the early access. So anyway, we'll leave that off, but yeah, that's kind of weird phrasing. And then once you're ready, hit start game. Yes, you want to start the new game. There is a cutscene here, which we're going to cut out for the purpose of this video, but you watch it and have fun. Okay, so after that, you'll find yourself here at this scenic overlook, and you may have realized that in the course of creating your character and starting the game, you never picked any classes, you never picked any skills. Your character is just a blank slate. So that's how everyone starts in Titan Quest. Nothing specialized at all, and then as the game goes on, you'll actually be able to really get in depth in customizing your character and creating a class that you like, because in Titan Quest, you don't just pick a class, you pick a mastery, and then you can pick a second mastery later on, and depending on the two that you pick, there are a lot of different options. And then even within that, there's options of how you want to customize your skills. We'll get to all that later. But yeah, don't worry, you're just a blank slate right now, but you will get to flesh out your character as you go. So basic controls, you just can hold down, and I'm playing mouse and keyboard. If you're playing with a controller, you'll just use the sticks, you'll figure it out. Luckily, most of the buttons you need to hit are shown on the screen. So like what the keys do is here on the screen. So if you're playing with a controller, you should see those symbols there. But we'll assume mouse and keyboard. So you just hold down left click, move around, right click to swing, like it shows right there. And we'll head down here and see what we find. Right, so we get attacked by a giant eagle. Hold down right click while with the mouse on it to fight it off. Pretty easy. Now you might notice some little sparkly things like this. You can left click on it to loot, and out pops a bow. That's handy. Now if we want to equip that, we can hit the I key, open up our inventory. We see what we look like there. Right now we don't have anything special at all, just kind of a little leather outfit and a sword. And down here is our bow. Now you can left click to and drag it around if you want to do that. You can just right click to equip it. But as you notice now, so our sword's in our inventory. Now, one thing you will definitely want to know is that you can hit tab. You see right there, tab also, to switch. You have two different weapon sets. So you have basically set 1, set 2, and that doesn't just change your weapon, it changes once you have skills, all your skills will swap too. So you can basically have two different loadouts at the same time. The one thing that would be great to do right now is set one of those loadouts to be ranged and one to be melee. And then when you're in combat, you can just hit tab and switch back and forth, and you'll see the icons change. Let's try out our bow. We just right click to shoot arrows. Don't have to worry about running out of ammunition. You see that boar? He had a little special attack there. He charged at us. If we wanted to get out of the way of that, the other skill we have here to start is hitting space to do a dodge. So if we do want to try that, we could have dodged when he charged us there. Now he dropped these heavy greaves. Got some armor. And we see that there are some boots. We're already wearing some boots in that. So there's all these slots up here. So you have a helmet, shoulders, torso, weapons, gloves, boots, 2 rings, and like an amulet or token or something up there. And then also we have potions here, which we start with health and energy, or like mana, which is basically like the mana. And so if we want to equip these new boots we just got, we see here that the stats, you can hold down Alt to compare to what you currently have equipped. And we can see that these are heavy greaves. They have 10 more armor, so 22 instead of 12. The mix of what kind of armor it is a little different. It's got a little different bonus. And we could right click to equip those. And now we've upped our armor. So early on, it doesn't matter too much. Basically, bigger number, better for a while until we start finding more advanced pieces of equipment that have different kinds of bonuses. And then we start building our character out more. The other thing to take note of here is towards the bottom of that, you see it says requires, and it has some stat requirements. Those are green because we meet the requirements. But it could be you might find something that's red and that you can't equip, but we'll learn how to up those stats pretty soon. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep exploring.
Tell how brave Aristano prepared him for the hunt.
Always check every little nook and cranny. Might find something good. Alright, so we run into our first NPC.
It's getting more aggressive. The griffin grows more dangerous every day. Its mad cult of worshippers keeps growing. It's time we hunted it down. Good. But first, there's something I must. The time has come for you to.
Alright, so this game is an action RPG, meaning that dialogue and talking and choices, not a huge part of the game. It's part of the story that kind of brings everything together, but this isn't Baldur's Gate 3 or anything. You're not going in depth on really long conversations. The other thing to kind of take note of here is this thing is our portal. So you'll find these as you go through the world. You'll want to be sure to run up to them and activate them so they start glowing, because then that lets you teleport around between other ones once you find more of them. You can also at any time hit L or click this button right here to open a portal. And this portal, basically you can open it anywhere and then use it to travel to one of these permanent locations you found, and then you can travel from there back to the portal that you've created. Basically, you can have one personal portal open anywhere, and that becomes handy whenever you start like going into town to sell loot, stuff like that, without having to walk all the way back. So that's good to know that you can do that right there. And then the other thing you notice is right here, this popped up, the hunt begins, enter the mysterious cave. So that's our current quest, our current objective. If we hit M, we bring up the map, and we see here our quest log. That's all we got right now. So our fated quest, that's like the main quest, and then world quests are going to be like side quests that we find. If we zoom out a little, we can see the quest marker is up there. So we need to head that way to meet up with our mentor to go fight the big monster. Now down here, we'll get into some more combat. We're not going to necessarily play through every little bit, but we'll kind of jump in and out as we go. So yeah, we use our bow to pick those guys off at a distance. And then if you look up on, always look on the map to notice little side places, because you might find some nice treasure. All right, nothing too fancy there, but we did get a cap to wear. It gives us some, fills out another, what you want to fill out your slots as soon as you can and then start upgrading them. That's the biggest, one of the biggest parts of the game is upgrading, but we got to get our basics first. And we can see there, that's basically the exact, almost the exact same of what we're currently wearing. Just for the sake of noticing, the total armor is the same, 10 armor, but the mix of what type of armor it is slightly different between Pierce and Strike. The one we found is a little more focused on Strike slightly. Not really a big difference right now, but as you get further into the game, get to higher levels, those little details like that start to matter more and more. You can also, if you want to, you can attack like these pots and pans, or not pans necessarily, but pots, and you might find some items in there too. So that was nice. We found linen spalders, so we got a nice little cape thing going on that gives us some more armor. And then we found a different bow, short bow, which like it does pretty much the same. Has a little bit different, a higher. It has a weapon critical hit chance versus a weapon ailment chance. So again, not too big of a difference, but we'll give it a try. We'll push ahead along the beach here.
You've been training with me a
Fight some more
long time.
enemies.
I have just one more thing to teach you.
You saw that little red number popped up instead of the kind of brown tan number. That was a critical hit. So switching to our short bow already paid off with that higher critical hit chance. And then, yeah, feel free to switch between melee and range if you want. And of course, you could have 2 melee weapons, 2 ranged weapons, whatever works for you. Try doing our dodge there just for fun. That's the king crab. And we'll grab one more treasure. And we got close enough to a new area. Gonna have it a little pop up there. Proteot. And you can see now we have two. Since we have 2 one-handed weapons, I picked up another one. Now we have them both equipped. Which, ooh, watch out for these king crabs. They can spit at you. That's one attack. You might want to dodge because it will knock your health down a little bit.
Not bad. You've been practicing.
But yeah, so if you have 2 one-handed weapons, you can equip both of them. It doesn't necessarily like double your damage, but you do more damage. But you might want to equip a shield instead to get more armor and defense, depending on what kind of build you're rocking. And then there are 2-handed weapons, like the bows are 2-handed, and there's 2-handed as well. Now I'm gonna let some of these guys hit me just to show. So yeah, see there, he's doing a special attack. He has a little icon above him, and you'll see our health starts dipping. So we can hit D, use one of our health potions, and it's not instant, but it fills up pretty quick. And then now we only have 1 health potion left. The way you get more health potions in this game is by fighting enemies. You'll see this little ring around the outside. It will fill up as you kill enemies, and then you'll get another health potion back. You'll also see that your health regenerates. So you have start with 4.5 per second of health regeneration, which is pretty decent. And so you don't necessarily need to use your potion every time. It's more for when it starts dipping in combat. You might want to hit that D. And then later, once we start using our energy more, the same thing with the F key for our energy, aka like mana, for casting spells and stuff. But our regeneration on it is 30 per second, so it's even faster. Alright, so you probably saw there, it might have already happened for you, but we leveled up, so now we're level 2. And the way we know how close we are to leveling is this bar across the top. It's real thin. It's empty now, but it will fill up as you're fighting, and then when it gets to the end, of course, you level up. If you hover over, you can see exactly how many experience points. We can come up here or hit C to start our first level up. So right now, for this level, we just have attribute points. And so here are our attributes, which shapes a lot of our character, like what kind of items we can equip, what our other stats are based off of what these stats are. You'll notice you have kind of 3, it's kind of like a color wheel, like you have 3 primary, agility, knowledge, and might. And then in between them are secondary, cunning, fitness, and resolve. If you hover over them, they give you a little description of like what they're for. So like might kind of makes sense. It's for wearing heavy armor, using heavy weapons. But whenever you put a point in it, you also up your fitness and resolve. You can see lines light up whenever you hover over it. And then knowledge is going to be more like magic side of things. And then agility is going to be more fast weapons, like a rogue type character. And then in the middle is vigor, which increases your health and also increases all 3 secondary attributes. So kind of a separate thing to buff those and give you more hit points. I'm not going to go into every single one, but you can basically hover over each thing here to get an idea of what it's good for. And then the other thing is going to be all items have some kind of requirement for stats. And then, of course, as you go higher level, better items are going to have higher requirements for stats. So eventually they'll kind of force you to specialize in certain directions to use certain items. And then you might come across something you can't use and you say, oh, I need to bump my cunning up a little bit. To use whatever it may be. You can't just increase it directly. You got to increase one of these things that's connected to it to increase it. And you can also come over here to get really detailed stats, but we're not going to worry about that just. So to increase one of these, you just hit the little plus thing below it. We'll take vigor first, just for a kind of an overall buff. And then I'm thinking this character probably going to go, I like mixing in some spell casting. So we'll go with knowledge. So we see now our cunning's bumped and our resolve are bumped to 85, and we got a little bit extra hit points there. Now later levels there'll be more for us to do, but for right now we're just upping those attribute points. All right, so we'll continue along the beach here, fighting some more enemies. And then I'm gonna pause here and skip ahead a bit till the next new thing comes up. Alright, so we'll jump back in here. If you've reached this point, you've fought past some skeletons and other beasties.
You're the finest I've ever trained.
See what happens here.
You have been measured. Rise and accept your blessing.
Alright, so this point is when we can pick our first mastery. So this is basically the Titan Quest version of classes. These are going to be sets of different special abilities, different passive bonuses that are going to specialize your character. Now, one interesting thing is you don't have to pick one. You can actually just keep playing with just the default character. If you look here, you have some core abilities, not many, just a few, but you can invest really heavily in these and not actually pick one of the masteries. But don't do that. If you're just starting out, be sure to pick a mastery. Now, right here, you'll see there's only 4 right now. Whenever the game continues through development, they've said there's going to be at least 2 more in the base game, potentially more, and then probably DLC and such down the road, like with the first game where some more masteries are added. You might think 4 doesn't seem like a lot, but the thing is, eventually you'll get a second mastery a little further into the game, and then you'll be able to combine those. So depending on which 2 of these you pick, there's actually quite a few different classes that you can create. Whatever the do the math of how many combinations you can make with these. Plus, if you want, you don't have to pick a second one. You can just keep focusing on the first one that you pick to go like really deep into it. But the fun of the game of Titan Quest is, for me, has always been that you can pick 2 different ones and mix them up. So there's a lot of unique characters you can create. And then beyond that, once you get into each basically skill tree for these, in Titan Quest 2 especially, they go really deep. Like the different, depending on which abilities you pick, you can expand on, you can like focus on certain abilities, and then the more you invest in those, you can actually customize those abilities to make them unique to you. And so you can really make some unique custom characters like just exactly the way you want them to be. For our first choice here though is which of these you want. So Earth, click on it, you get a little description. You're going to do fire and stone magic. Rogue is going to be doing sneaky stuff. Storm is going to have lightning and ice magic. And then warfare is going to be all about combat, like melee combat and fighting versus magic side of things. You can click preview to see what the skill tree looks like. So you can kind of hover over these, see. So on the left here, these are going to be your active skills. So these are going to be like your spells and special abilities that you're going to use by hitting keys. And then over here on the right, these are passive skills. So these are going to be like percentage increases that buff your character in different ways. And then within them, though, you can kind of specialize them as well if you put a lot of points into a particular one. Over here on the left, you see basically you have to put in special points. I think they're called divinity points over here to kind of get to the higher tiers of abilities. And you can see even the highest tier here is not even in the game yet in the current version. So there's a lot of how much you want to invest in your character in different ways, because even if you pick 2 masteries, you might lean more towards one than the other. And so because you have to invest this to get this higher, to get the higher tiers of abilities within that mastery. So it's not necessarily a 50-50 split even if you pick 2 different ones. But you can look over them. I'm going to go with Storm. I always like the little lightning magic. I'm going to that one. But there's no wrong choice here. It's just whatever you like. And then you can see here, now I have access to this first row of abilities down here. I have 2 active points and 2 passive points. So our passive points are going to go into these things over here. Kind of like boosting your attributes, you just click the little plus to increase it. But you can click on it to see more details. So this arcane influx is going to give us more energy regeneration and more total energy. Not a huge amount, but the more points you put into it, the higher that's going to get. And then for specializing, if you put enough points into it, you unlock a feat for that passive ability. And so if you put in 4 points, you unlock the first one, and then 8 for the second. And you can pick these. So these are kind of bonuses that go along with whatever that ability is, that passive ability is, to give you an even further boost. So let's say just for our purposes here, well, we only have 2 points. We'll put both points into this. If we had 2 more, we could unlock that first one, and then we could say select that to get an extra 10% energy regeneration, which would be pretty good. Well, let's click out of that. And then over here, so we have a choice of, do we want to go with Call Lightning or Ice Shards, or both? We could put a point into each, or we could invest a little more heavily in one. I'm going to put both in Call Lightning. That sounds pretty good. And then you see that appears on your skill bar down here. Now, one thing to note, if we can hit tab on the screen to switch between our weapon sets, that those weapon sets also change your skills that are tied to it. So if you're switching back and forth, you'll want to assign this one in well. And then these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 keys, and then Q, W, E, R. And you can go into the options and change those too. Or if you're playing with a controller, it's going to be different, of course. Now, since we put 2 points into that, we can open it up and we can modify it. So this is where now we're getting into really customizing our character, not just picking which skill we want to use, but investing in that skill to customize it. So if you put in those first 2 points, you get this modifier slot opens up. I think you get it even if you just put in 1. But then the more you invest, so you can have up to 5 modifiers here as you put those points in. And then this is, I'm trying to think what the word it used for, basically the capacity, that's the word. So the more points you put in, you see the numbers on here, how many points you need in this skill to open up more capacity. Then that's how many of these modifiers you can put in, or well, how strong they can be. So you see each modifier has like what it does. So I think, oh yeah, I used this one before, pretty good. Repetition. So if we pick this, our spell repeats 1 time after a 1-second interval. It does a little less damage, it costs a little more energy, but it casts twice every time. So that's pretty good. I like that. So we can just click it to put it in, and you can see that it has 2 of these little shield things. So it takes up 2 capacity, so we have to put in 2 points to be able to pick that one. We can just click to take it out. We could put in something different if we wanted to. So this one, Thunderstorm, if we use it, enemies nearby have a 20% chance to be hit by an extra lightning strike. So that's pretty good too. And then we could put it in twice. Since it only takes up one capacity, we could click it twice to basically take it to the second rank. So that it can go up to 3 ranks. Some of these you see can go up to 5 ranks. But every time you put it in, it's taking up more capacity. So that really lets you, like, do you want to go way in on one aspect of this? Do you want to mix it up in a lot of different ways? You can really customize your skill. And this is just one skill out of many that you'll eventually have. So we could do that. And then, of course, you see whenever we put in that second rank, it upped it to a 30% chance, but also it costs a little bit. But I like the repetition. We're going to go with that to start. So I know it could be a little confusing, a little complicated, but you'll figure it out. And then if you don't like what you did, you can always just take it right back out. If you invest in one of these skills and you decide you didn't like that skill, you can do a respec. You just click here, and then you can take those points out, and you get them back. It costs a little bit of gold, 5 gold per level. It might cost more as you get way more invested, but pretty easy right now. So you can always respec your character and start over at just a negligible cost. And then while we're here, we'll look at the core mastery. So there's not a lot here, but these are kind of your core things. So your dodge skill, you can improve it. It also has modifiers. Basically, it's the same way. If you spend your active points, instead of spending them here on the storm mastery, you spend them here. You could make your dodge better. You could invest in it. You could get these different modifiers to give it a bonus in different ways. You can turn it into a teleport. You can dodge further. You can dodge faster, cool down faster. Basically, you have more charges. So a lot of options there. Just with your dodge, with this barrier. We'll look at it in a second. And then definitely ones to look at, though, are your attack. So there's 2 attack things here. Basically 2 different attack skills. It's a little confusing because if you switch like your weapons, you can see it changes, but it's not necessarily a range versus melee. It's just changing that because that's what I have equipped. It's basically weapon set 1, weapon set 2, and these are separate from each other. So it could be a little tricky if you're trying to invest in like both of them. You're splitting between 2 different skills versus you might just invest all into weapon set 1. Just be aware, if you've like put points into weapon set 1, it's not going to affect it whenever you have weapon set 2 equipped. Hope that's clear. I was a little confused by this, but once you figure it out, it's not too bad. But do pay attention here. So you can upgrade, this is like your basic attack. You can make it a lot stronger in different ways, kind of like baseline stronger by investing in it. And then there are a lot of modifiers you can put in. I won't go into all these, but you can look over them. There are a lot of ways you can customize your basic attack, but just take note, not all of these are going to work for every weapon. Like this tailwind, it makes your projectiles penetrate through a target and hit another one. That's pretty good, but it's only going to affect ranged weapons. So like if you equip this and you have it on weapon set 1, but you have a sword equipped for weapon set 1 and your bow is on weapon set 2, you're not going to get that benefit. So it's a little tricky there. So just kind of pay attention to what you're doing here. But like with the other things, you can, if you do equip something here and you realize you made a mistake, you can just unequip it, you can respec and get those points back. But definitely look at this core screen because these are all things you're going to be using all the time. So it might be worth putting some points into these versus norm. And you might be thinking, oh wow, I have core, I have my first mastery, and then when you get a second mastery, now you're splitting those points across 3 different categories of things. So as the game goes on, you're going to get more and more options, and your character is going to get more and more specialized the way you want to build it out. All right, so that's enough looking at the menu here. Let's press on.
No.
See what else we can do.
You saw how the shrine reacted. No matter. Go. I have other preparations to make. I'll meet you on the mountain. Slay the griffin.
That sounds a little foreboding. So she's gonna send us on to slay the griffin ourselves, or meet up with her later to do it. Now I got enough experience points there. I leveled up again, so we will jump right back into it. So now we have some more attribute points to spend. We'll do that and ability, sure. And I'm not too worried about it right now because you know, this isn't the final version of the game. I'm not trying to go for like an optimal build right now, so I'm just putting points in. I do notice on this you can't respec your attribute points that you put in unless I'm missing something. You are kind of committed once you level up this screen, so just be aware of that. Unless, I don't know, respec mode doesn't come across to there, so just something to be aware of. Now let's see. I'm gonna upgrade my dodge a little bit. That gives us, so putting 1 point into that lets us add one thing to it. And I'm gonna make it do the distance. So now my dodge is 30% distance. And then we'll come over here. If we put in another point here, now that opens up capacity and a second slot there. Very nice. And maybe we'll put in thunderstorm there. So now every time I cast this spell, it's going to hit twice. It's going to do a little less damage, but it's going to hit twice. And it's going to have a chance of doing like a bonus lightning strike against enemies nearby. So I like that. And if we wanted to cast it, it's right here, 1. So we see boom, boom, pretty good. Wipe those guys out. And it uses up a decent chunk of energy, but notice how fastly it refreshes. So once you start getting these skills, you know, don't hesitate to use them because your energy replenishes pretty fast. Now, these enemies hit us with some poison. You notice the health thing here turned green. Basically, that's an ailment. So that's like bleeding, poison, stuff like that. It could keep dragging your health down. So kind of pay attention to that when you see that start happening, because you might think you're okay, but your health is draining away instead of regenerating. So we'll go along here and see if we can find anything else. Alright, so I'll cut out here and come back here in a minute when we find something else new. Oh, well, I'm back really quick. Alright, so heading this way, we found another portal. So now we can click on that. We can see we still have that home where we started, and then the Proti Village outskirts, which is where we're at right now. And then the other thing, oh, I'll take care of that. An old snake right there. We found this guy, who is our first merchant.
Thank you.
We can trade with him. So it's pretty straightforward, but just to show it, so we can look at stuff here. We can shift and left click to sell things to him, and we can see how much they're worth. So all this stuff's not worth a whole lot. And then you can still, before you sell stuff, you might check to see if it's better than anything that you've picked up so far. I think this is really so. And then I don't know if there's like a sell all button or if they'll add that later, but you do have to kind of click a bunch to sell everything. There is a sell all button. I haven't seen it yet. And then just to, in case you sell something that you didn't want to sell, you can hit this last button to buy it back. That's basically like while you're standing here, you can get it back cheaper. Then later it's either gone or it's going to be more expensive, or I guess it's totally gone in this game. Some games are different though. And then looking over here, things we can buy. So you notice there's some colors here. So the blue items are magical, where the gray are common. You see there at the top. Basically, that means they're the lowest like tier of item, which as the game goes on, the common items will still get stronger, but the big difference is the blue, which is magical, of yellow, which is rare, and then the other colors you'll find later, like whatever this game calls them, legendary, epic, stuff like that, will be other colors. The big difference is that the higher tier it is, the more bonus attributes it's going to have. So if we look at like this common bow, we see it just basically, it has basic stats and like 1 bonus. It has the critical hit chance. If we look at this blue axe, we see it has all of that in the first box up there. Wish I could move the mouse to show, but like that first box has its basic stats. Then it has some green bonus stats. So it does extra weapon strike damage. It does, and it boosts our might by 17 points. If we come down here to this rare item, yellow, we can see it has 3 bonus stats. So basically that's the higher level you go, the more bonus stats you have. So those items, even if their base like armor is the same as a common item, they have all those extra bonuses. And then those can be all kinds of different things. And then that goes into how you're building out your character, what kind of gear you're putting together to kind of make your either cover your weaknesses or make your strengths stronger. And then of course we can see all this good stuff. It's too expensive for us right now. We have 219 gold, which is enough to buy like a common item if we needed to round out our build a little bit. We had any empty slots still, or we can keep saving up to get one of these better items later. And of course you'll find these as you go along too. In most games, I usually don't go to the shop too much, but it can be nice to give you a boost if say you just haven't found a good pair of boots in a while and they've got a nice thing there. You can buy it to fill that slot. All right, so we'll close this and move along. See what else new thing that we find. Okay, so hopefully you listened to my advice on exploring every nook and cranny as you go along. If you did in this area, you would have found this jar that has a little entertaining side quest. That if you pick it up, then bring it here, it drops a rare item. So we can pick this up and see. So this is a spear. It's rare, so it's yellow, even better than the blue magic items. And you see it has 4 bonus stats on top of having pretty good baseline stats. But we can't equip it because we need 58 agility and we only have 55. So we need to level up so we can bump that up 1 notch and equip this really nice weapon that's going to give us all these bonuses. But we can see I'm pretty close to leveling up, so let's see if we can just run up here and grab a level. Oh, and then actually I just remembered I forgot to put my passive points in, so let's do that here. So whenever I hit 4, so that's at 4 on there, once you get 4 points in this, you unlock the first feat slot, which basically for this one you can pick from these 3 things, which are quite different. Like this one, it's just a flat 10% increased energy regeneration, which is pretty strong, on top of the bonus that we're already getting from the baseline. And then, or we go with this, which gives us an ether shield, which if we're above 50% energy, 10% of our damage is absorbed by the energy instead of our health. So that's nice. It's like a little kind of a little passive damage block for us. And or reservation, we reserve 10% of energy, and we gain 2.5% of it as energy regeneration. So kind of a different way of getting more energy regeneration. But we'll just go with this since that's kind of a flat bonus. And then we can see it here. So now on top of the bonus we get from putting points in, we've opened this feat, which gives us an extra 10%. And that's just one example. All of these are going to have their own different types of feats available. Looks like most of them have 2 slots and 3 feats. So you can customize even your passive skills in different ways, and some of those unlock whole new mechanics on top of just like passive stat bonuses. That's pretty good. All right, so let's run along here. I'm in this cave with these spiders now. We need just a few more kills to level up. I haven't had very good luck so far. I haven't found anything other than common items. You may have found something better. Let's watch out for these skeleton evokers. You can actually dodge their attacks just by running out of the way or using your dodge skill. But then watch out, they cast, when you see that green line, they cast a spell, but you can get out of the way of it too. So some fancy footwork can save you some damage as well in this game, besides just besides just your stats and everything. Actually hands-on, actively moving your character, dodging, can help you stay alive as well. Now we leveled up. Oh, and yeah, I'll try doing the barrier. Actually, let's do the barrier real quick while I'm thinking about it. So the barrier is a core skill that you unlock back a little shortly ago, and it defaults to Q. You can move it around though. And basically when you do it, you'll see your health gets a barrier. So it starts at 115, but then it goes away. It only lasts for a few seconds. But basically, if you think you're about to get hit really hard, you can hit Q and throw that up to give yourself basically extra hit points until it goes away or those points get used up. And then it's one of your core masteries here that you can upgrade. So if you want to, you can make that ability really powerful because it has a lot of options, just like the dodge and basic attacks can have a lot of extra options. That barrier, you can make it pretty strong too if you want to invest in it. But now that we have those attributes, let's put that into agility here and keep pumping up knowledge a little bit too. And then we can Close that. And now we can equip this, the Draining Fish Spear of Alacrity. We'll do that on here. And it's just a one-handed item. I thought it was going to be two-handed, so it's actually just one-handed. And it's way better than what we had equipped before, and it gives us all those extra bonuses. Try it out real quick. We'll throw on our barrier. Yeah, so that feels pretty good. Blocked most of the damage with the barrier. Used our new weapon to do a lot of damage. And as you can see, it also increases our casting speed. If we were doing something with damage over time, it would increase that. You can see that's the first thing. But we're not doing any damage over time yet. So sometimes those special perks on there aren't really helping us, but a lot of times they are, or we'll find some other way to tie them in later, or find a different item. But that's the fun of the game, is finding the perfect item that fits your build that you're going for. Now while we're here, let's see. Let's open up this one. So I'll put that in there. And then remember to also equip it to my weapon set 1. And yeah, we'll put both points in there. So this is ice shards, so it throws a cone of shards of ice shards out. And then we can increase it in different ways, so it has totally different modifiers than the lightning spell. Do that, gives it additional projectiles. Then we'll do it to rank 2. So now we're doing 2 additional projectiles. It makes it cost a little bit more energy, but you're throwing 7 instead of just 5. Now it's 7. And you can keep pumping it up to 5 total. Investing there. That's pretty good. And then I'll put these points into this one. Gives us spell rage. Lets us do more damage and increased casting as it stacks. That's pretty good too. Try that out. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. And then of course, if you picked one of the other masteries, you're gonna have different skills there. And then, like I said, as the game goes on, eventually you can unlock a second mastery, and then you've got so many options. And then as this goes up, you unlock all these other active abilities, customize them the way you want. It's that's the fun of the game, is that there are so many options that you eventually have. All right, we'll pause here and then press on a little more. Okay, I paused too soon. So actually, a little hint right here. You'll notice that one of these torches is lit and one isn't. If you click on it, you open up a little extra room here where you can get some nice items, magic items there, including, let's see. Oh, I thought I had a ring in there, but I did not get a ring. But we did get stuff that we know is flat out better than what we've got right now. Now, one thing in this game that I kind of like is that it doesn't just give you like a color indicator of like this is better than that. You kind of have to look at it and think about it for yourself. I think I'm going to go with, I haven't run into any enemies that are doing fire damage or anything like that yet, so we're just going to go with kind of the straight bonus. Piercing armor. And then here, oh yeah, our torso armor, much better. And gives us +4 health regeneration per second, so that's pretty good. Even though, yes, it looks like it's less on your guy up there, but it's actually much better. And we see now our health regeneration is at 9.7 per second, so pretty strong. Now I'm not going to pause, because every time I pause it seems like I turn right around and find something new to look at. Try out this cone, ice cone, and then yeah, heal up there. So you do need to be finding those better items, that better armor as you go, because the enemies do get tougher. Or make sure you dodge. Don't be like me and just stand there getting smacked by a bunch of arrows. Or find a shield. So that's, yeah, a one-handed weapon, so we can equip a shield that gives us a little more armor. And it gives us some free barrier, so it increases our barrier 43 points. And like I said before, don't be scared to use those abilities, because your energy, it replenishes really fast. And if you need to, you can also hit F, drink a potion for that. And let's say your inventory is getting pretty full. Don't forget, you can hit L to open up a portal, hop in there, and go back to where that trader was. And then we can just run over here and sell all our stuff real quick.
Would have liked it.
Which, yeah, I hope they do add some kind of like sell all common items or something like that. Would speed that up. But let's see, we have 452 gold now. Is there anything you might want to grab? Don't have rare boots yet. So these boots are same armor, but give us some lightning resistance and increased move speed. If there's anything else that would be better. Ooh. Penetrable light shield of regeneration gives us more, so it's a little bit less flat armor, but it gives us +3 health regeneration per second. That's pretty good. Let's take that. Even though they look the same, they are different. Then can we afford anything else? You can see here there's this health potion, so you can find different potions as you go that have kind of different stats that do things a little differently. This one I think is pretty much the same, but do keep an eye out for better health and energy potions and other types of potions you can equip. Ooh, let's grab this magic amber ring. Increases our spell damage 9%. We don't even have any rings yet. That would be good. You can see it's tiny in our inventory there. We could equip another ring if we find one. All right, that's a little shopping trip. We've upgraded our gear a bit. And then we can jump right back to where we Okay, now we'll pause and see what else I find. Alright, so if you press on a bit, you advance the story, you get to this village that's under attack from the Griffin. Let's finish the video off with a little action. See what happens.
You're not a moment early. Where's Aristino? The Griffin's cult is attacking! Almighty Zeus, I don't understand. Why would anyone want to steal gold? You're right about that. We used to tease Aristino for all that training she had you.
Alright, so let's finish it off with a little action here. And then I think we've covered kind of all the basics to get you started with the game.
There are people still trapped inside!
Zeus, Athena, Hera, have mercy! Thank you!
You can see this quest takes place over a big area. As long as you're in that area, you're finding the right guys to fight.
Didn't your mother teach you any manners? Is it safe to come out now?
Here's a portal, but we can't activate it right now. Just one or two more enemies so that we missed.
Monsters! My father built this house! God's curse, that looks like everyone. Meet me in the center of the village.
Alright, so we saved the village. Well done.
This is the third time in as many months. Well, look who's grown a spine. Which one of you is responsible for this pathetic... You like playing the hero, do you?
Alright, so here we go, a little
Then
boss
fight
to
me.
finish off this
My master will
section in the
enjoy
video.
using you.
Not another attack? I'll protect the villagers. You take care of the cultists.
Dodge that area attack there.
I'll protect the villagers. You care of the cultists. That griffin is a curse on us all. We can't... Not me. I'm too old to go chasing down. The cultists block the path up the mountain. Take it and teach those cultists. Don't forget to destroy the griffin's nest, too. We can't risk another griffin moving in.
Alright, so whenever you save the village, now you open up this teleport, and it looks like there's a trader over there that you can use here too. Alright, so well done. We've advanced through the first few areas of the game, we've saved this village, and we're ready to continue on to fight the griffin. But we will pause it here. I think I've covered everything that you need to know to get this far in the game and equip your character. So good luck, go up there and see if you can defeat that griffin. And then if you like this video, if you found it useful, be sure to hit like and subscribe. My channel is all about creating tutorials and guides for a lot of different kinds of games. And I'm a fan of the first Titan Quest game, so I was excited to play this one. I think it looks great. It's very fun to play, so I'll probably be doing some more videos on it. I'm not like a pro ARPG player, but I wouldn't mind making some videos kind of exploring some of the different masteries, some of the good builds in this version of the game, and then as it goes through early access, it's going to keep getting updates and getting new features, new areas and stuff, so be sure to check back and see if I got some more videos covering further into the game. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.